Hi, Luminaires. Hi, how is everybody? How are you doing? I am so happy that you're here. My name is Jamie Butler. I am located in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a medium. I trance channel spirits and energies, and I do private sessions, and my passion is teaching. So I like these Fridays at 1 o'clock. We're not really kind of teaching, it's more of a conversation, but we pick a topic. Topics are driven by your suggestions as well as spirit. And today's topic was driven by Maitland, a little guide of mine that you might know if you have observed any of my trance channeling sessions. And she wanted to know, what would your obituary say about you? And she was like, what would your obituary look like? And I was like, I don't know. It's something I don't think about. She's like, why? Of course, just like any kid, all the whys. Why? 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 And so we got down to the bottom of it. And I was like, that was pretty trippy. I liked that. So I said, let's do that. That's why we're here. I loved it. Me, myself goes, she survived life until death. What was it? I gotta find it again. I was laughing so hard. Hey, Kiara. Kiara says her obituary would say, Kiara was kind, smiled a lot, and gave the best hugs. Me, myself goes, survived until death. Amen. You guys are cracking me up. The obituary never say the people at fault. The people fault? Oh, you have to tell me more about that, Kiara. Hi, Bradley. Nice to see you here. And there's lovely Colleen. Marcella says, mine would say that I lived a long, happy, and fulfilling life, and I passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by loved ones. Oh, I liked reading that. I like the sound of that. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Rachel. Hi, everybody. Jay Marcus says, my obituary and celebration of life are going to be full of positive vibes and love and music and good food. Sounds like a party. Please, yes, and thank you. Hey, Nana from England. She's giddy and saying, I'm one step in the grave already. We are each day, Nana. No worries. Okay, so stay hydrated, everybody. Let's do this. I've been teaching this morning over on Learn It Live. We did 741 hertz frequency, which is all about cleaning and healing and feeling better, and then 4 orange stones in 30 minutes. So I am well-spoken today. Let's talk about your obituary and what it would say about you. So energetically, the topics that we tend to avoid are not saving us anything. Avoidance is not true avoidance. So when we aren't willing to look at a topic, be it our own health, our own marriage, our own parenting skills, whatever it is, if we are not willing to look at it and see where we can grow and polish it, we're agreeing that whatever is occurring is at its best. Because at any given moment, we are at our best. Each decision we make, however we show up, it's the best version of ourselves. That's the most that we could ask. Even if you're throwing a tantrum and yelling and you're unhappy, my God, that is the best version of yourself that you got at that time. Like, you cannot shift that. A way that we can get more connected to those things that we choose not to look at is to simply take a peek. Today, we're going to take a peek at what your obituary would look like. So we're going to imagine, and we're going to do this together in a little bit of a visual. So you might need to close your eyes a little bit, but I promise not to bite or pinch you. And then if you do have pen and paper, that would be really helpful because you can take some notes or you can use the chat thread as your. I want to give a lovely, big, heartfelt hello to all the YouTube members that are with us today. It is so lovely to see you here on the live stream. I've really been enjoying our book clubs. I like making the monthly meditations for you. And for those of you in the higher tiers, I've really enjoyed the Q&A sessions we've had through Spirit, answering your questions, as well as trance-channeled monthly energy updates for you. It's been a blast. I can't wait to do more. We're reading the book The Field right now by Lynn McTaggart, and it is wow. It's just wow. If you're in this energy-centric world and you're like, I just want to know the science behind it because I really love that science, and you just want to smush those two things together, you got to grab The Field. Chris Ann is saying, I often think there should be an honest rehearsal, one written for each of us by our friends and family so if we don't like it for what we've been remembered for, we have the opportunity to change and be like, no, thanks, but I really don't want to be remembered for that. So I'm going to take up this new hobby and habit so that you'll write about that one. I love that. And Chiara was clarifying that in Italy, obituaries always say good things on people. There are some, Chiara, here in the States, where you can get online and look for them. They will say the funniest and sometimes the nastiest thing about people. And they'll even do that on their tombstones or placards. It's crazy. It happens. Andrea from Ireland, hi. It's good to see you here. Oh, you are so welcome, Emma. Thank you for enjoying the trance channeling. Okay, are you ready for this? Okay, if you're with me right now, please take some time to sit back away from the phone, prop the phone up somewhere, put the ear pods in, set it aside. If you're like jam up on your computer, if you're at work, maybe you can slowly drink from that bottled water that you brought in because you're an hydrating Luminaire. And just close your eyes as you're doing that. While you have your eyes closed and you're sitting back from your computer electrical instrument, I want you to feel like you are rushing through your life to the end of days. Just power up by imagination only. This is a pretend game. And I want you to push through your life. Go through the years, the months, the days, the hours. And I want you to get right up to the end where you can't push any further. And I want you to linger there for a second and see yourself. And just imagine what that's like. Looking around the space, imagine who's with you. Call forth those family members and your loved ones. And this is strictly, no, don't be rough on yourself. This is imagine, this is bring it together, a light afoot. This is not a deep visualization. Skip through, fast forward, and linger at the end where you can't push anymore. Are you an older person or a younger person? Are you alone? Or do you have people around you? Was it traumatic? Or was it over weeks and months? Was it quick or long? Now that you're in that space, I want you to go ahead and close up your imagination. I want you to roll your eyes to the back of your forehead so you're looking at the blackness behind your forehead. Drop your shoulders. If your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth, just go ahead and drop that down. Relax your jaw. Take a nice deep breath. And release. Nice deep breath in. And release. I want you to gaze at the back of your forehead. Relax your body. Soften your body. Keep staring at the black screen. And in a moment, you're going to project along with me the number 10, and together we're going to count down from 10 to 1. So go ahead and see the number 10 in the back of the head, back of the forehead. See the number 10 shining up on that black big screen in front of you. And with each number that I say out loud, you'll project it on the screen. And with each number, you're going to feel yourself getting deeper and smaller and progressing through life. So let's begin with number 9. Seeing the number 9, feeling the body get heavier, deeper, and further along in this life's story. Go ahead now, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, see the number 8. 8 is on the screen, the body is more relaxed, the heart rate is softer, and you're further along in this life's story, reaching longer through this life. Deep breath in, breathe out, see number 7 on the screen, feeling yourself older and closer to the end of your days. There's an easiness in your body. There's a lightness in your vision. Deep breath in and out, seeing the number 6 on the screen. Lighter and lighter and deeper as the numbers count down, bringing you closer to the end of your days in the transition. Deep breath in, release your breath, seeing the number 5. Number 5 on the screen, feeling your energy push forward through this life story. Deep breath in, out, seeing number 4 on the screen. Lighter and lighter, deeper and deeper. Deep breath in, out. Number 3 on the screen. Feeling yourself around the last day of your life. Deep breath in. Breathe out, seeing the number 2. Being in the last few hours. Coming closer to the final page and the last chapter of this beautiful book. Breathing in, breathe out. See number 1. Hold on to number 1 on the back of your forehead until it quietly dissolves on its own, leaving you in the last sentence close to the last word of the story of this life. Take the observer's role, witnessing the movement, the sights, action, and sound. If it's too strong of an image or a connection, feel yourself pulling further away, creating some distance. As if you are only in the observer seat, witnessing the future unfolding. And allow yourself to take the last breath. Breathing in and out. And allowing the light of this life to turn off. Witnessing the energy in your body coil together, Rejoice by expanding beyond the physical boundaries and transitioning into higher dimensional planes. Observing who is there, what takes place, who is greeting you. The intense amount of love, compassion. Now collect all these memories that you have from observing. Paint them clearly into your memory. And in a moment, you're going to hear me count from 1 to 10. And when I count to number 10, you will feel yourself back, removed from this experience, no longer connected nor playing it out or observing it. So 1, you begin to pack up and create more distance where you are. 2, feeling it go further away. 3, pulling back closer to today and this reality. 4, feeling stronger in your body. 5, feeling connected to how you feel. 6, inspired by your new knowledge. 7, present in your physical body. 8, like you want to stretch and come back to this present moment. 9, back to today. And 10, go ahead and open your eyes. Smile, put your feet on the floor, ground it. Beat them down to the floor a little bit. How was it comparing or working with these two approaches? One, just a flippant kind of, let's imagine things. Let's zip through the life and let's pretend. And let's call forth just these things. And you created it yourself. It was imagination. How did your life unfold then? What was your transition like? And then taking just a slower moment. And it was only the count of 10, but we took 10 wonderful breaths, pulled away from where you are, and we traveled down this energy because time is not linear. Your death is not going to happen in the future. It happened. Is that comforting? I don't know if that's comforting yet, but your death has already occurred. So what was it like to travel down that energy connection and pull yourself in as the observer to witness? Were they similar? Did they play out differently? Were you surprised? What happened? What happened? It's also a really nice, sweet exercise in recognizing that just taking your imagination and dabbling through really quick, pretend, imagine, collect, how intuition is embedded all in it. Right? There were some similarities there. And then all of a sudden we took a different approach where it wasn't so much about imagination. It was about seeing it. It's quite different. It's an observation. It's coming internally and we're observing externally. Imagination creates all inside of us where we are making the sparks, but an observation observes the sparks. And what did you find out there? And what took place? What were the similarities? I love those expressions. Rachel said, it was so real. I feel like I saw a possible future ending in my life and transcending into the non-physical. And it was emotional. So we're going to take some time to write our own obituary. Here's where, if you have that pen and paper, it would be really helpful. Hi, Christine. So good to see you here. Hi, JJ. Don't worry about being late. You can always go back and watch this again. So obviously in your obituary, you're going to state your name. That one's pretty easy. What's your age? What number just came up for you? When you said, what is your age? 98 came up for me. I saw 68, because I know there's a glitch, and then I saw 98. I know something is happening to me around 68. I've known that since a little kid. That number like haunts me. So if I'm going to 98, I definitely want to be around 2 more years to get into the hundreds. Good, we have some 121s, 92, 74s. Bradley is seeing that 62. 68, and day and night goes, oh no, way too long, no thank you. But it's interesting, right? So now you have that in your head. I want you to let it go, because it's not about us prophesizing what is to occur and allowing it to come true. So we've got the number, make it disappear as quickly as it showed up. I love it. Now list, who were you survived by? Do you have a spouse? Do you have children? Do your children have children? Who are the survivors left behind? I think about my kids. I see both of my kids. I do not see my husband. I feel like he goes before me. I don't see him there. But I'm survived by my children and my brother's children. I feel like I'm going to be burying a lot of my family, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with death and transition, but it's an interesting thought. Katie says, this was so needed, Jamie. Could you provide a recording that we could reference in the future? Ooh. Seeing your death. Recording. You could always come back here and jump over. I think it was about 12 minutes in we started. But that would be a nice recording. Marta has a dog that's surviving her. Hi, Tiana. You made it. Jay says, I'm seeing a couple of death ages. I'm assuming those are exit points. Yes. Yeah, I saw 68. And then it kept flipping, and I landed on 98. My daughter, my son, my grandkids. Yeah. And friends that are like family. I love this. Tara says, I've always felt like I'll die in my sleep, an old woman. However, I seem to have zero attachment to what happens afterwards, other than being cremated. Like they can do whatever brings them comfort. That is really gracious. So many people are fixated. Like for me, I'm fixated. I want to be cremated. I want to be cremated. I want to know that my body's not there unless you're going to bury my body with mushrooms and I'm going to contribute back to the earth. But please don't put me in a box. I can't even stand the thought of it. Just makes my whole body just like freak out. Please don't put me in a box. My family, are you watching? Please don't put me in a box. Yes, plant food. Dina's like, nice to know that I'll grow old, 80, 88. Okay, now, how would you be described? So there you are, there's the age. Here are your survivors. He or she was I like to think that I would be described as a kind person, maybe incorrigible. I like to be known as courageous. That's something that I really want to feel. It took me a long time in my life to feel pride about what I do, but I feel that. But I would like to be known as courageous, like She saw something and she wanted to do it, and she did. Like, I would love that. Mercurial? I don't know what that means, Bradley. You have to teach me. Carolyn, I thought I'd died by now, but I just made it to 6 years old. I could never see myself at this age. Oh, Carolyn, it's like you're rewriting your story. This is so exciting. Yes, I want to be buried in a root pod for an oak tree. Connie, that's beautiful. Day and Night says, I'll probably be alone, buried by state, and put in an unmarked grave. Day and Night, is that what's popping up for you? Or is that your, like, mental dump? I'd love to know if there's a difference. Mercurial, outside, enigma, contrarian. Love it. Bradley, that's you. Dana, no survivors. Dana outlived everyone. I'd be described as funny and a piece of work. That's awesome. Oh, wow, Jay. These are all so beautiful. I encourage, if you're going back and watching the recording, please take the time to read the responses. They're beautiful. Rachel's like, I can't think of any description for myself. Okay, then, who are you? You know, how do you think people see you? Now you're going to think about, where did you grow up? And why did it matter? Why was that so important? Like, where were you born and reared? And how did that influence you? I was born in Central Florida. I spent the first 6 years of my life in a trailer on like a family piece of property. My dad calls it the Butler compound. I have my great uncle, my grandparents, there was family there. Great aunts and those cousins, second removed, all were on this big piece of property. We had a nursery there. And then I moved into a community in a ranch-style home from 6 years on until I went to college, and I lived in Lakeland, Florida. We had a big piece of property in our neighborhood. It was a whole acre that our house was on, and we made us like be outside all the time. It connected me to nature. I think Lakeland was important to me. It influenced me in the way that Lakeland is the #1 lightning touchdown capital in Florida. It used to be in the United States, but I don't know if that's still the same. So when the storms would roll in, which would often be daily, at least at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, my mom would ring this bell for dinner and also for come home. And we would come home and we weren't allowed to sit next to the windows because of the lightning. We have to unplug everything and we would watch the storms. It's made me so grateful for weather patterns and storms, and it's affected the way that I engage with nature. I grew up, my father was a tree farmer, and I would drive the tractors and pull the weeds and throw out fertilizer and move the plants and plant plants and clip plants, and that's given me a huge respect for nature. So what about you? Where did you live? How did that influence you? Why did it matter? Crazy Italian from New York. All right, Christine, then how did New York influence you? Why did it matter? Dana's talking about her incarnation next. She'd like to be a tree in Colorado. Sammy Joe Cat Lady. Wow, just got on and thought she was wearing a huge hat. My wallpaper. Do you like my hat? I don't know if I could navigate that. So Tara says, I was born in Southern California. My mom moved us away from our father. He is a wonderful, gentle man. It's affected my whole life. Yeah, that choice affects everything. The environment that you had when you were younger affected who you are now. Let's learn about that right now. What was it? So in this case, the choice of your mom affected you. What about the location in California? How did that shape you? Amber says, we moved a lot when I was younger. Parents separated here and there, can't can't back together, but got back together. It took them a while, a lot of fighting. My dad drank a lot. My mom was detached often. So those are the choices of the people around you. What about that environment where you lived? How did it affect you? We know that people are going to feed you a lot, those personalities. But living in Florida, like, it provided me with storms, provided me with hurricanes, provided me with a lot of rain and some ditch parties. When, the ditches fill up and then you go play in the ditches in the water. So when it lightnings here, I'm outside. I'm like, wow, look. But most Atlanteans are like, get back inside. And I'm like, it's like home when I hear the pop and the crackle of the thunder. Or when the rain comes down, I'm outside. Come on, let's play ball in the rain. Let's get the Frisbee. Let's kick some stuff around, which I don't see a lot of people playing outside. But in Florida, we had to make it happen because it was raining often. You didn't want to miss playing outside. How did your environment affect you? I'm from Turning. Kiara says being kind is basically genetics. As it was my grandma, as your grandma was. Jay, oh my God. Jessica, always evolving. Wife, mother, spiritual warrior, like no other. Loved, laughed, and lived to the fullest. Carolyn, I grew up in Marion County during the 60s and 70s. Oh my God, my heart is beating fast for you. I think that's fabulous. It was all sex, drugs, and rock and roll, just as it's known for. Lots of love and energy that I miss. Wow, woman. You give me some goosebumps. That was a great visual. That impacted you greatly. Yeah. Rachel B. saying, Southern California, Valley Beach, moving homes, lots of parents, divorced, married twice, rough childhood, 67s, encountered a cultural revolution that all shaped me. Shelley, born in Flint, Michigan, lived 4 states before the age of 5, moved back to Michigan and settled near my mom's family, grew up with aunties, uncles, tons of cousins. I hear that. So what does your environment give you? Kind of like Carolyn was stating, the vibe of the environment. I want to know that because that is a big unlocker for why you choose and do what you do today. It's interesting. Audrey, we couldn't wait for the irrigation dishes to fill up so we could go float in it. It was a blast. You and me both. Jessica Briggs, born in the Bay Area in the 90s, fell in love with the rolling hills. Lots of pressure to look perfect, perform perfectly, and I've been such a rebel, following my wild child heart. I'm digging it. So, what did you love? In your obituary, often they'll go, he or she loved the blah, 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 and that's why she did blah, blah, blah. What did you love? What's going to be written in your obituary? Carolyn says, there was a higher love energy in the planet during the 60s and 70s. I've never experienced that since. Such sobering times now. I agree. Carolyn, I feel like we're going to crawl back into that love. It's happening. And more sustainable. Instead of a decade, it's going to be a lifetime. So what did you love? So for me, I loved animals. I brought animals home all the time. Birds, cats, anything that was injured, I'd pick it up. Anything that was stray or alone, I went to it. Oh my gosh, I would have friends come by my window at night, knock on the window. My mother has all kinds of stories about that. What do I do? Can I come in? Can I see you? I'd stay up at night helping. I loved it. I loved helping. Whom did you love? In this great life of yours, when you're looking all the way to the very end and you look back, who did you love? Whom was it? Hi, Melodonna. It's so good to see you here. Whom did you love? Bradley's like, I loved my friends. Jessica's like, I love plants, animals, the wilderness, friends, family. Yes. Life, right? I loved the earth, says Connie, as they put her in the roots of the oak. Oh, yes, you did. And love to laugh and make others laugh. Yes. Rachel says, my babies, my soulmate, myself. In that order. I love this. Whom did you love? Man, I loved my family, my sweetheart, desperately, like unreal. My children. And then I would have to say the whole, just the all that is. My kids make fun of me when we walk to the park, and it's all in good fun. I get wowed a lot, and they're like, why? You've walked this for 20 years. Why? You see that tree like 5 times a day. Why are you surprised? My son's like, why do you do that? He's like, you walk around like, oh my God, you see that tree? It's so pretty. You have to come outside and look at this light. Look what the sun is doing. Did you see this cloud? Oh my God. I'm like, bring it on. I'm laughing, but it's so true. I don't know if my memory is just short term and I forget that clouds could be so effing beautiful, or that a tree could be so majestic. I don't know what it is. Or a worm could be so fascinating with how it's see-through and how it moves through the dirt like that. But I get lost in the wonderment. And I'm so grateful for it. It gives me plenty of entertainment without the television. Plenty of love and acceptance. Lightworker says, I grew up on a hobby farm and loved my animals. Oh, wow. That sounds fascinating. Ileana Montoya, my parrot Lulu, but I would have outlived her. She was my biggest, smallest teacher. Hi, Lulu. You love it. I love helping toddlers to experience life and dogs, and also TV show characters. Yeah. You guys are so rich. This is so fascinating and fun. Oh my God. Bradley, stop it. You said it's all like a Bob Ross painting. That's how my son quotes me. So now I only buy him Bob Ross stuff. If I have to shop for him, he's getting a Bob Ross t-shirt, Bob Ross socks, Bob Ross underwear, Bob Ross hat, Bob Ross kitchen. He's like, Mom, you got to stop this. And I'm like, back at you. It is. Tara, you agree? Clouds are one of my absolute favorite things. It's just so fascinating. I have so many pictures of just nature that I'm like, oh my, I can't delete this. Looking up and seeing the leaves and seeing the sky behind it and that distance, it gets me so excited. Maybe that's why I don't want to be in a box. I loved my honey, sunshines, my dog, my family, and my friends, and friends that became family, says Connie. Oh, I love this. Amber says, I was waking up the other morning. Before opening my eyes, I heard Maitland and me. I was like, whoa. I love it. She is a busy little soul. So, 2 more things to think about. 1, what will people remember the most about you? when they look at your life, what will they remember? I'm hoping that when people look back at me, they'll remember my laughter, that I laughed, and maybe at inappropriate times. And I'll just apologize to my lovely friend Bill Frazier, if you're watching, and Sharonda, because I laughed at your wedding and it was very inappropriate. And it was only because the 2-year-old next to us, who was the cutest small person I've ever seen in my entire life, still is, had gas and was tooting a lot. And the smell and the sound of it gave me the giggles. And I almost had to leave your ceremony because I couldn't catch my breath. Sorry. But not sorry, but sorry. Katie says, my family always teases me because I'm constantly wandering off to gaze at something. Katie, oh my God. If we were to walk together, we would not go far, would we? Oh, look at this. Oh, we'd walk like this instead of the straight line, to get the steps in. Ooh, Tara takes pictures of fire. Once I got a picture of the fire in the shape of an angel. Oh my gosh, throwing out a heart. Incredible. So what Audrey's like, oh my gosh, that's so mean. We cannot Audrey, we just can't. We can't sit next to each other at any event, not a movie, especially not a movie, a funeral, a ceremony, a wedding, because if something like that happens, and if I start laughing and you start laughing and then I'm laughing at you and then you're laughing at me, it's done. My friend Carrie Reeser was with me and she's like that. And I was laughing, she started snickering and it was over. And I kept looking at her like, you can stop it. She wasn't going to stop it. And we were getting looks from people like, oh God. Just no funerals for sure. Oh my God, I know. Now, lastly, when you traveled imaginary through your life and you got to the end, and when you traveled through the breath work and walked your way through and pushed yourself as an observer to see the end, here's the big question. How did you die? How did you die? Did you see it? What was it? And is it anything that you can start making corrections on right now? That's huge. Because if you have the awareness and you willingly agree to it, what's that like? Just accepting a fate? Because it's not a fate, you're in control. Free will influences fate. For me, the first time, felt like it was an accident, something like car-wise. And then the heart wasn't doing well. But then when I pushed through and I easily saw 98, which I would like to be like 107 or something like that. I was dying because it was old age and it was time. And that's all there was. And I've watched that with 2 out of 4 of the grandparents. And I still have one grandparent who's living, my mom's mom. Shout out to ML Jones. She's 97 as of last month and going strong. She does her walks, she plays her games, she has her visits, she watches her shows. She's fantastic. But it's like in our family, we go right up to 100 and then we just decide to leave. My great-grandmother was almost 101 and she was ill. They put her in the hospital and she says, I'm not going to die here. Take me home. They take her home. She'd get worse. They take her back to the hospital and she'd get better. I'm not going to die here. So they'd release her, go home. She'd get worse. And then I think it was the 3rd time, taking her to the hospital, the family decided, we're not going to take her to the hospital. This is ridiculous. And so she was finally able to die at home. And her last words were like, look, they saved a seat for me. They're waiting. She pointed up, she closed her eyes, and she walked on. That's how I see it. In my vision, at least. So it's interesting. For those of you who can't see your ending, it's fine. It might be shielded or veiled for some great reason. Connie, I died from complications from my meat suit. And hopefully in my sleep. Christine says, I'm going to die of laughter. There's just going to be that day that you just can't breathe in after that, and it's done. Starlight wrote too, yep. I loved animals. I loved being outside. I loved traveling around. Oh, these are all those things that you love that people are going to say about you. Oh my gosh. Kiara says that she felt an easy, sweet trespassing, like I was too curious to see what was on the other side, so I didn't put any resistance. Oh, interesting. So what is it like knowing now, with your obituary drawn out and observing what that's like? It's not that we're investing energy into it for that outcome to occur now, but what we're doing is placing our awareness on it so that we're not saying this will never happen to me, because this is what our life is. Being aware of even those things that you don't want to create doesn't manifest them, but it helps balance your energy and scales. What brings it forward is your focus on it and your obsessive focus on it. If you find yourself keep going back to your death day and this and that and the death and the death and the death, then yes, it's going to bring it back like closer because you're creating it. But checking in with it doesn't manifest it. And it will help you, like I said, balance the energy, balance the scales. More knowledge and more awareness can bring you more ease and more peace. I've really enjoyed being here with you. And for those of you who stuck around, tried this on to see what it was like, if you want to do more of this, invite Maitland in. I'm sure she'll come to your house and help you out. If you would like to see more, hear more from me, I do have some classes coming up. I'm going to start a class and I'm going to teach you how to build a psychomantium. And a psychomantium is a dark sensory deprivation room. Over 40% of people who use a psychomantium have full apparitions of their loved ones. It's the work of modern day Raymond Moody, who brought the psychomantium and scrying techniques back from the ancient times. It's a beautiful way of meditating and engaging with spirits. I'm going to teach you how to build one. And then in another class, I'm going to teach you how to use it. If you're wanting to learn energy healing techniques and get more in tune with the energy you have in your own body, I have a Reiki level 1 class coming. And then I also, is it next Friday? Oh, Colleen, are you out there in the world? Going to do a group healing. And I've invited Rod Bravo, who sparked the idea for doing the group healing, Janet Raftis, who I adore, Reiki healer, feminine, divine light of everything delicious and good in the world, and quantum healer Emily First, which I've done a duet healing with. And the 4 of us are going to get together and do remote healing, like for the group. And it is quantum, Reiki, cord cutting, healing, like insane measures. And that's going to be over on Learn It Live. It's a week from today. So I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I would love to see you there. And of course, when you buy anything on Learn It Live, it's recorded. You can go back and watch it again. Wonderful thing about healings and live channeled sessions is that even if you're watching the recording, it's in real time for you. And the way that we set up our intent when we're doing anything remote and healing wise is that the healing is going to occur to you in your real time. For all the future watchers, all the repeat watchers, and for all the attendees that are live in the class at that moment. It's awesome. Why do the Learn It Live links keep getting deleted. Uh, it's YouTube might not allow you to outsource or outlink anywhere else because they're maybe a competitor. But the Learn It Live's not really a competitor. But if you head over to Learn It Live and you click on Jamie Butler-Medium, you'll be able to see the group healing. We'll try to do more posts and let you know about it. But if there was one that I would suggest attending, even if you haven't done remote healing yet, I would absolutely do this one. It's going to be $30, 30 minutes, 4 healers. It'll be 45 minutes long because we're going to talk at the beginning and talk at the end, and we're going to make ourselves available to answer questions and work through some things that you've been feeling or what you went through. But the healing will be a 30-minute intense healing. Yeah. No. Deleted by the Google moderating team. Messages deleted by Google moderator. Hi. I guess you can't outsource links. Communication breakdown doesn't feel good, does it? You guys are incredible and amazing. Oh, Amber, you're going to do Reiki 1? Yay! I love that. I can't wait to have you in there. Oh, and Rachel, you signed up for the group healing. Yay! I really appreciate that. Post it in the description. That would be really nice. Oh, I love that you guys are spreading your wings. I will be back next Friday live streaming with you. And I want to thank you for showing up for these. I've really enjoyed inviting Emily first to talk about quantum healing, as well as Sarah Rahias to talk about the Schumann resonance and also the solar flares and how they influence our energy on Earth. Like, all of this has just been so much fun and enlightening, and you guys are making that possible. So thank you for making my dreams come true. You rock. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this content, do like it, share it, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you know that when we go live, you'll get notified and you can just hop on and jump into the bandwagon. Take care, everybody.